very cookie cutter take that we saw from a lot of Big 12 fans once we heard Oklahoma was going to the SEC with Texas. It was very quickly, especially after Oklahoma's season 2 years ago with Brent Venables, where suddenly they looked very mortal. Common take that you were hearing all the time: Oklahoma is going to become the next Nebraska. They're going to go to the SEC. They're going to become a Nebraska-like entity. Everybody wanted to say that from the Big 12. I understand why. I mean, because there's probably like a little morsel of truth in it. I did not go all the way to Nebraska, but hey, maybe they turn into a Tennessee or an Auburn. You know, they're not going to be in that top tier of the SEC, which will be a big step back from where they've been in the Big 12, obviously, right? But everybody wanted to pound Oklahoma with that. You guys, 10 years down the road, you'll be the ones that haven't been to a bowl game in 6 years and have the longest drought in FBS football. Again, I did not go all the way with that. I was not as strong as some people with that take, but I must say, through 2 weeks here, right now, at this point in the race, it's not a finish race. We're, I don't know, into the first turn of a 400, maybe 50 meters into this thing, probably more like 25 meters. But Oklahoma's stumbling out of the blocks. Put it that way. Oklahoma's stumbling out of the blocks. That means the haters, they're in front on the track. They've got the baton out a couple lengths ahead. They are out in front of the Sooners right now on this one because Oklahoma fans, they didn't really have any serious problems in week 1, but I know it was not something that pleased a lot of Sooner fans, particularly like Jackson Arnold in the offense. And then it's not going to get much better when you put up 14 points. 7 of those were gifted to you on a controversial muffed punt where both the receiver and Willie Fritz from Houston say that didn't ever actually hit his hands. And that set up, just Chamber of Commerce, the 7 points to Oklahoma with that. Other than that, it's 12-7 late in the game without that in favor of Houston. Oklahoma escaped with a win, but Jackson Arnold, supposed to be the star quarterback, I will grant him the same kind of grace that I'm granting guys like Avery Johnson because I do think that is fair. But there's frustration there from Sooner fans. They're struggling with a team picked at the very bottom of the Big 12 preseason poll in the same year that Oklahoma is starting in the big bad SEC. They've got a tough schedule. Texas got a little bit more beneficial schedule than Oklahoma did year 1 in the SEC. They certainly do not have the Missouri SEC schedule. So the Sooners could, it looks like they may be staring down the barrel of something here that's not going to be a great start to combat this narrative that a lot of Big 12 fans wanted to push about what was going to happen to the Sooners. They definitely don't appear to have an SEC caliber offensive line right now. I know that's been an area where they've been a bit beat up as well, but the star quarterback faltering a little bit, don't have the offensive line that it appears that you were needing, and you may be getting off to a rough start here. Brent Venables has been recruiting very well. I understand that. So reinforcements perhaps are on the way, and maybe it will just take a couple of years and they'll be right back there. But I would still say the jury is very much still out on Brent Venables as a head coach. We don't know if this is a guy that you can totally trust. Could you have totally trusted Lincoln Riley to be really grinding it out in the SEC the way that you would want it to? I would say probably not. No. So you'd have questions with both. But even Lincoln Riley right now, he's riding high. They beat LSU. For the moment, it looks like Lincoln Riley has perhaps found a way to configure a defense with D'Anton Lynn. So I'm just saying, it's very early, but the haters, this is a nod to the haters. It's a little, maybe it's a little more overt than a dog whistle, but this is a call to the haters, a call to the Oklahoma haters. You are out in front. You are out in front early on Oklahoma, at least becoming more like an Auburn or a Tennessee, going through some period like that, maybe a Florida. Although Billy Napier may be dragging Florida to depths that are too low for that. The other part of this cliche take for Big 12 fans, the quintessential Big 12 take, was that, Texas actually, much as we hate it, will be much better equipped to handle the rigors of the SEC. And it looks like that's kind of accurate right now, does it not? Texas is rolling. They just abused Michigan in the Big House on Saturday. Quinn Ewers looks awesome. Sark seems like he's got it totally figured out, even with all the injuries they withstood at the running back position. Doesn't matter. They're moving the ball up and down on Michigan. I don't think Michigan's what they were last year, quite obviously. But still, Texas is impressive. The last 2 years, as we sit here and say, man, Oklahoma, I don't know about this. Texas won at Alabama last year. They won at Michigan this year in their non-conference schedule. They went to the college football playoff last year. They and Georgia, to me right now, look like two teams that are above everybody else in terms of what they have proven, like resume-wise, combined with what we thought they were on paper talent-wise coming into the year. So the contrast of Texas punking Michigan in the big house with Oklahoma hanging on for dear life and needing a safety with like a minute left in the fourth quarter to beat Houston. Shout out to the haters. Shout out to the haters. You may have something here with Oklahoma. We'll continue to monitor, but you may have something here. The fact that Texas seemingly has it figured out too just has to twist the knife even more for Sooner fans.